وقل رب أدخلني مدخل صدق وأخرجني مخرج صدق واجعل لي من لدنك سلطانا نصيرا وقل جاء الحق وزهق الباطل إن الباطل كان زهوقا.
In the 11th year of his prophethood, the Prophet ﷺ continued his call to the faith, using the pilgrimage season as an opportunity to call the other visiting tribes from all over the Arabian Peninsula to Islam. A group of 6 men from the city of Yathrib in the north heeded the call and accepted Islam. The next pilgrimage season, several other men from Yathrib accepted Islam, and the Prophet sent an envoy to the city, Mus'ab ibn Umair radiallahu anh, to help teach the people the tenets of the religion. Islam began to take hold in the city, and in the 13th year of prophethood, during the next pilgrimage season, over 70 of its people met the Prophet ﷺ in secret at Aqaba, which is within the city of Mina. Here they made bayah, a pledge of allegiance, obedience, and protection to the Prophet ﷺ. Masjid Bayah, at this very location, commemorates the site of this event. The Muslims now not only had a safe haven in Yathrib, but a place where they were now welcomed to establish a Muslim state. As the Muslims began to migrate to Yathrib, the Meccans were deeply worried at these developments and decided to attempt to assassinate the Prophet. The Prophet was warned of this plan by Angel Jibreel, and he received the divine command to migrate to Yathrib. With Abu Bakr as his companion, the Prophet left Mecca, initially taking a southern route to throw the Meccans off his trail, staying in a cave in Mount Thawr for 3 nights. Despite this effort, the Meccans still came across this cave and were literally steps away from the Prophet. Abu Bakr was fearful, saying to the Prophet, "If any one of them looks down, he is sure to see us." The Prophet reassured his companion and said, "What do you think of 2, with whom the third is Allah?" As the Meccans approached, they saw a spider web on the mouth of the cave and 2 pigeons standing there. Believing it to be impossible to enter the cave without disturbing the web or the pigeons, the Meccans looked elsewhere and left. By divine help, the Meccans left the cave, not realizing how close they were to finding the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet ﷺ and Abu Bakr then proceeded towards the coast and then to the north, traveling on a route that was intentionally made more remote and different from the common routes at the time. The Quraysh had offered a reward to anyone who would capture the Prophet and hand him back over to them. One man seeking the reward, Suraqa ibn Malik, spotted the 2 and rushed towards them on his horse, with sword in hand. Suraqa's horse, however, stumbled and he fell to the ground. Undeterred, he remounted and rode on again, only to fall off his horse once more. When Suraqa tried one more time, the horse stumbled yet again, and Suraqa realized it was a divine warning. He peacefully approached the Prophet ﷺ, asking him for his forgiveness and promising to do him no harm. As he set back to return home, the Prophet ﷺ then told Suraqa that one day he would wear the bracelets of the Emperor of Persia. Many years later, Suraqa would find himself as a Muslim and in the court of the Persian Emperor after the Muslim army defeated the Persians, and the bracelets of the Emperor were presented to him, confirming the prophecy of the Prophet ﷺ. Further along on the journey, the Prophet ﷺ stopped at a camp of a Bedouin woman, Ma'bad. She had no milk to offer her guests, and it was very dry and hot at the time, and her sheep did not produce any milk. The Prophet ﷺ, with her permission, wiped his hand over the udders of the sheep, mentioning the name of Allah, and milk gushed out in abundance. As the Prophet ﷺ moved further north, he finally reached the dwellings of the tribe of Bani Amr ibn Auf at Quba, on the outskirts of Yathrib, via the farewell passage called Thaniyat al-Wada. The people of Yathrib had been eagerly awaiting the arrival of the Prophet ﷺ for days. Nearly all of them had accepted Islam, without ever meeting the Prophet, but it was their sincere internalization of the message of Islam that cultivated a deep love and yearning for him. Their example serves as a reminder for us today, for like the people of Yathrib, we have neither seen nor met the Prophet, yet do we have the same love for the Prophet ﷺ that the people of Yathrib had. When the people caught glimpse of the Prophet ﷺ and Abu Bakr, they rushed towards them, and the Prophet ﷺ was given hospitality by the tribe of Bani Amr, and drank from this well, the well of Adq. As the people of Medina continued to greet him, one after the other, it became very hot, and Abu Bakr took his cloak and held it over the Prophet to give him shade. Henceforth, this place also became known as Makan at-Tadlil, the place of shading. It was here in Quba that the Prophet ﷺ established the first masjid in the prophetic period, known as Masjid al-Quba. It holds venerated status, as the Prophet ﷺ said, "He who performs his ritual purification at home, then comes to Masjid al-Quba and prays 2 units of prayer, his reward will be that of an umrah." After staying in Quba for several days, the Prophet ﷺ moved further north on a Friday morning. Due to the fact that people were still approaching the Prophet, greeting him, offering him hospitality, or asking him questions, it took the Prophet ﷺ half a day to go less than half a mile. Here, he was greeted by the tribe of Bani Salim ibn Auf. Bani Salim ibn Auf, who were the cousins of Bani Amr ibn Auf, his hosts in Quba, pleaded with the Prophet ﷺ to accept their hospitality and give them the same honor. The Prophet ﷺ accepted this request and stayed with them. It was midday, and it was time for the Jummah prayer. Here, at the site of Masjid al-Jummah, the Prophet led his first Friday prayer. As the children of Banu Najjar sang in welcoming the Prophet, he arrived in the city of Yathrib. The Prophet ﷺ settled at the house of Abu Ayyub al-Ansari. Now the leader of a new state, the Prophet's first efforts were dedicated to building a new masjid, Masjid al-Nabawi, the cornerstone of the new city. With the light of divine guidance, Yathrib had now become Medina al-Munawwara, the radiant city, the city of the Prophet.